Hi, everybody. Welcome to a Truth Tuesday over here on the New Normal. We're also streaming on Satoshi Sean's channel, so make sure you go over and check that out. Give him a like, make a comment, because he's usually running some kind of contest or something, so you don't want to miss out on that. So we'll be right back with my buddy Satoshi Sean right after this. It's a good day today. How are you, Sean?
This is a good day to die. I'm
No, it's a good day to win the science fair.
Yes, I sent you that video or link to it. You can play it there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's old. I'm surprised you hadn't seen it. But
oh, that
one. A simulcast skullscap. Wow, I'm mixing stuff up. Computer turn on Studio One.
That's okay. I said, what did I say earlier? View, and I said something else.
You can save energy by timing your smart lights to turn on or off when you want. Just ask me to turn off the lights in 15 minutes.
No.
So you want to talk about this right this minute?
You can play it. It's just interesting.
Let's see. Is it playing? It is playing. Volume up.
Hey, Bruce, it didn't do it. Yeah. So you gotta choose. And I don't know if you've seen this picture or this video.
That's enough. He's talking. He said went up in the helicopter and saw the blue roofs. Those houses didn't burn. We got to fix that.
Well, I saw a speaking of that, I saw a really interesting, it was Tucker Carlson and Matt Taibbi interview. And he said, it was kind of like I can't remember what comedian did. Maybe it was Joe Rogan, a few years ago. I would have never thought this and that, or that Big Mike was a dude, or, whatever, kind of like all the conspiracy theories coming true. Yeah. And he said, they were talking and they said, well, I have a question, and it's what you've been saying, some of what you've been saying about well, so if Biden was proven unfit to stand trial, which basically is like confirmation, he's incompetent president. Let's pretend he's really president. Let's go down that rabbit hole. Then who is ushering through in these last few days, all these pardons, EOs, different things that were happening, even in the last year or so. And then he said, and to be honest, I want to know who was president for the last 4 years. That's a great question.
We didn't talk last week, and it was, there was things I wanted to talk about, because this specifically really bothered me.
Like the who was president for the last 4 years?
No. Yes. That bothers me, but not as bad as what. So here's the deal. Okay. So Johnson came out, and there was an interview, and he goes, I can say this now because Biden's not president anymore. But he talked about like a year ago. Did you see this interview?
I've seen so much. I don't know.
Okay.
I will say no, because I don't know what you're.
He said that Biden signed an executive order to stop producing natural gas or giving gas to some place, or it was really, really bad, right? So he's like,
not the Nord Stream thing. That was the Anwar, right? The Alaska thing.
It may have been. It was something to do with drilling.
He was all part of that Green New Deal thing.
Well, he said, hey, man, I'm Speaker of the House. I need to talk to the president. And it took him like 3 weeks. And he's like, I need to talk to the president now. This is an emergency issue that has to do with national security. It's just causing problems. I'm the Speaker of the freaking House. I need to talk to the president about this. Why aren't you letting me talk to the president? And they're like, well, we can bring you messages. Or he's like, no, this is how government works. I need to talk to the president. So he gets to talk to the president after almost a month. And he says, Mr. President, why did you sign this? This is hurting our country, their country, this, that. And he's like, I didn't sign that. Well, what are you talking about? He's like, you signed this, and this has been going on for over a month now. And it's causing all these problems. It's hurting us financially. He goes, no. You're a mistake. I didn't sign that. I signed something about a study, something. And he's like, man didn't know what the fuck he signed. He didn't know what was going on. And this was a year ago, he said. So to me, he should have come out and said something. Okay, he's now complicit. He's wrong. But that raised questions of Biden didn't know what was going on. He's just signing things that people put in front of him. Blah blah blah. So the tail end of this is that they're saying that all of the he didn't know what he was doing in all the pardons. Thousands of pardons. You know how many pardons he signed?
Well, not one for himself.
Do you know how many he signed? Pardons.
No, I saw it. I saw a list.
Donald Trump signed.
They were like, Donald Trump signed the most ever, and it was like in the hundreds.
No.
Biden's
Obama signed more than him. He signed 200, but Obama signed more. But it was like 700 or something. How many?
I didn't say whether Biden,
How many you think
or Obama signed more or not. I just said Trump's were in the hundreds.
Yeah, but you said Trump signed the
thousands.
most, and Trump did not sign the most. He only signed 200.
No, I didn't say he signed the most. I never said that.
We can go rewind it until
I said he signed in the hundreds. Well, maybe I did. I didn't think I said that.
No, it was Obama before Trump. Trump signed 200. Biden signed over 7,000. But the thing was the 7,500. Yeah, covers tax. So the thing is, they're saying that he didn't know he was signing pardons. He didn't know he was pardoning this pedophile and this guy and this. So that supposedly changes things. And then I was so unbelievably pissed when Trump was signing all these executive orders. This guy was just saying, hey, Mr. President, this one does this. He goes, that's a big one. Okay. And he signs it. Doesn't look at shit. He just signs it. And he goes, that's a big one. And he shows it to everybody. I was like, why are you doing this? You're not a moron, Trump. Why are you doing this? Everybody is talking about how all the shit that Biden signed, he didn't read. He didn't know what it was. And this guy is just saying, and this one does this. He's like, oh, really? Well, that's a good one. I like that. Here, sign it. He didn't look. He didn't read them. He just signed them. And I was like, this is the most damaging thing. Why is he doing this? Why are they doing this? Why are they allowing this to be filmed? What the hell is going on? I really didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
Yeah, I don't know that it's the most damaging thing, but I think it's interesting because with it, they lose their Fifth Amendment right. It does put them under the way that they did the blanket pardon so many years back before, it really is like a negative connotation, or, when I can't remember who they said was saying like the only reason you would do a blanket pardon is to cover up a crime. Maybe it was himself in an interview. Now I can't remember. But so they were asking him, like, who else are you going to be pardoning or considering pardoning in these last few days? I mean, I think we all know he wasn't really paying attention or in charge. And so I'm guessing that's the thing they're going to put out in front of people.
Yeah, but Trump's not paying attention either, and he's just signing stuff they put in front of him. It's the same thing.
Oh, no, it's not.
He's guilty of doing that. He shouldn't have done it. What?
That Trump doesn't know what he's signing?
Did you not hear what I just said?
I disagree with you.
What?
That he just doesn't know what he's signing.
Right.
I think he knows.
Did you not hear what I just said about what he did on camera in front of everyone? Were you not listening? I don't think you were listening. I think you were typing.
I must have missed that part. I didn't.
There was a guy next to him with like 46 executive orders. And he was sitting there talking to the press and looking around.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
And the guy said, okay, Mr. President, this one is going to do this, and this is going to declare.
Do you think that's the first time Trump ever heard of those?
Okay, yeah, but he didn't
Because
read
they've
it.
already had those
But
conversations.
he didn't read what he was signing. Could that have easily been changed? The whole point of if they are going to go after all these people and say Biden didn't know what he was doing, and then Trump sat there and didn't even go, all right, just take 30 seconds and look at it. Just take 30 seconds and look at it.
He doesn't know what.
I think he didn't take 30 seconds to look at it.
Done before.
I don't.
Those may not even. Okay, in that same time frame, in that same interview that you were talking about, he may not have been signing the real ones. He may have signed the real ones behind closed doors where he had time to read over them or something.
He signed them. He showed them.
No, he didn't show them. He did not show them.
He did show them.
I watched the thing. He did not show them. No, he did not.
Yeah, he did. This is the interview. This is the time when Peter said,
There was
is there a letter?
There was a guy
letter
there
in that drawer, and he goes,
yeah,
"Oh, the letter in the drawer. Yeah, that one.
You can go watch it. There was a guy with a camera that tried to sneak around the side to get pictures, and he asked him to get back because the guy was trying to take pictures of what he had on his desk. I mean, you can get into it however you want. I disagree with you.
I absolutely, he didn't read. He did not. You cannot argue the fact that he didn't read what he was signing. The guy said, "Sign this. It does this." He signed it and said, "Oh, that's a big one." That was dumb. That was a dumb move, man, when it comes to what they're trying to do and what they're trying to prove with Biden. It was not smart. It was wrong.
No, being mentally incompetent and knowing your team and having a plan are two totally different things. Like, that's completely different.
Pretending that you're mentally incompetent is also bad, and that he was doing that. I did. You know, when Barron said something to Biden, and Biden's face dropped at the inauguration.
Mm-hmm.
That I've watched different stuff, and I don't think most of them didn't get it. But this one lip reading lady, she got it right, and he said, "It's on." He shook his hand, said, "It's on," and then he went over, and Melania looked at him and said, "Try and be nice." And I was like, that is what they said. I thought that was funny. I don't know. I think it's weird that Barron's he's not out there that much, but everyone seems to really be interested in him. You know what I mean?
I think that a lot of people think that, some people think that, I won't say a lot because you're going to try to nail me on everything I say. So some people think that Barron is doing his tweeting or whatever, especially with his recent FAFO, whatever, and then his, advising his dad to get on Joe Rogan, do these kind of things, and being so successful at gaining.
He did a lot of that, yeah.
So it was interesting.
He was the one that told them to start going on podcasts, period. He went on flagrant. Which that surprised me. Rogan didn't surprise me that much, but Flagrant did. I don't know. It just totally changed the whole game, and Barron was a big part of that.
Yeah, well, I don't know what he actually said to Joe, and I don't know that I'd trust a lip reader to tell me.
I think it was funny. I do trust it. It was because I've seen a lot, and I'm like, nah, I don't think so. And then that one part didn't measure up or line up perfectly, and it was funny. And then to see Melania was like, try and be nice. It's like, it was funny because her expression was like, come on, it's like, try and be nice.
Well, when you're winning,
the children thing is very interesting. Just instantly 75,000 kids are found. That was I
haven't seen that, but I've been at school all day.
It was a few days ago. 75,000 of the lost immigrant children were just found like the day he came into office.
Oh,
what?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I guess that's old news.
It was it was pretty. I think that just shows, like the peace in the Middle East. Like you said, it better be done before I can get into office. And then it was like a couple days before, and then Biden's like, look what I did. And I was like, no. He said, before I get into office, this better be chilled.
Interesting. I can't find where is it? Maybe I can find it.
He is a skull cap. He's not Muad'Dib. Definitely not.
Here it is. Yeah, here was a guy, one of the people that assaulted children. They did find and bring in.
Did you see that? Is this what you're going to show? No, it's not.
The head member of Jewish cult leader of Lev Tahor, I guess, wanted for extradition by Mexican authorities, accused of human trafficking, child trafficking, and child. You know what? So that guy is.
Did you see where Dr. Phil is going out on raids? That
with Tom Holman.
Yeah.
What's hilarious to me is in the interview or where they raid the guy, he goes, well, I don't know who you are. He's telling Tom Holman, like the number one guy in ICE that's removing all these illegals. He doesn't know who he is.
Yeah.
But he knows Dr. Phil.
I knew Dr. Phil. He's like, so what are you being arrested for? Man, you know, stuff. He's telling him everything, but it's like, what is it? Oh, you know. He's like, man, can you believe people out hurting kids and just walking around here? That was funny. I think the new CIA director is like going out with him too, or the head of intelligence. It's like everyone's getting it. And this is the kind of stuff, though. This is what starts the Civil War. Is like your state is not going to take part in it. Your city is not going to take part. They're going to fight back against the cops. That's going to make regular citizens go out and be like, because if my town has a crime from these people, and then the government's trying to come in and take these criminals out, and my own city is stopping them, I'm not going to let that happen. That's going to get regular people out there against their own government, their own local government.
Well, but the in this case, they are impeding the law, so Holman will just arrest them as well. Like Katie Hobbs pushing her agenda and all that in Arizona, he's already said the law is clear, and if you impede me removing these people, that you will be arrested as well.
They've already done it though. On like they wouldn't let teachers wouldn't let federal agents into the school to go and get kids. So there's already like these lines being drawn, and the left is they're freedom fighters. They're the good guys in Star Wars. They're the rebels working against the evil empire and Donald Trump's Palpatine. It's still a shit situation. I think we're still heading down a nasty road, but hopefully things will get better.
I hope it'll be the peaceful and lawful way that it should be.
I thought something was going to happen with Colombia because they stood up. She mouthed off, and I was like, oh, we're going to have a problem. Within 24 hours.
They sent their own president's plane to pick up.
That was the funniest thing. Because she said, look, you want to give us 25% tariffs? We're going to give you 25% tariffs too. And we're not going to do this, and we're not going to do that. And we do get a lot of stuff from Colombia. Gold, flowers, a lot of things. And but I was like, oh, so we're going to have an argument here. And then Trump said, yeah, 25% and 25% more a day. That was it.
Ended that.
It wasn't a standoff anymore. It was like, oh, okay, well, we'll forget it. Mm-hmm. Okay, would you like us to send a plane? We can send our planes.
We can also send our plane.
That if they didn't,
in fact, I'll send my own presidential plane.
If they wouldn't have done that, they would have saved some face. But they completely, like, there's no way any other country is going to stand and say we won't take our criminals back. No one's going to do it after that.
I hope not.
The one more thing I think is interesting about the pardons is that we're just a country. we're one of hundreds.
Mhm.
We're not special in the eyes of the law. We're just a country, you know. So when these crimes come to light, like on the scale of Fauci, on the scale of Pfizer, on the scale of Moderna, on that scale, we don't control shit. So, Russia has issued a extradition order for Fauci,
Oh, when was this?
like this week.
Oh, a recent one. Okay.
They said, hey, man, you can't do what you did to the world. And then the president of the United States says, it's okay. No, you fucked with our people. So literally any other country, and, I don't know what good it's going to do, but because, there's arrest warrants for Netanyahu from the UN.
Well,
There's arrest
Fauci just lost his protection, his $20,000 a month Secret Service private,
$20,000 a month. Try
20
$2 million.
was it 2 million?
Yeah, Lee told me that. He's like, do you know how much that cost? I was like, probably
Wow.
like 15. I thought it meant per agent, but per person, like because he was talking about a mustache guy, Bolton.
Oh,
Bolton
okay.
was $2 million a month. And it was 2 point something. It was hundreds of thousands, 2.2, 2.5.
I thought it was 20,000 a month. I wonder
No,
if it's 2 million a year or something.
it's a month
Interesting.
because I didn't think about it, but you're not just assigned one agent. There's a small team.
Yeah, it has a whole team.
I started thinking
And
about
that includes a private driver.
seen Guarding Tess. Nicolas Cage. It's great. Oh, it's a great movie. It's a great movie. You would like it. But yeah, because there's like a whole little team, and you said there's drivers. They have all the security stuff. It's a big. I mean, and you can refuse it. Like, I think Lady Bird Johnson refused it after so many years. Because I think I went to the house 30 years ago and they had it, and then I went like 25 and they had the Secret Service there anymore. I went with my granddad. But yeah, it's a ridiculous amount of money, and just from the point of like, why are we spending it on them? If we have law enforcement, it's not like it's legal to kill someone. And Bolton was pissed. A lot of them were pissed. Because they were like, hey, man, Iran said that they were going to kill me. Iran said they were going to.
Right. They are saying, like, if that does happen, because they know that Iran is after certain people, that could look bad on Trump for removing their.
Did Salman Rushdie ever have Secret Service?
I don't know.
No, he didn't. It's I mean, it's kind of a, if there's an evident threat, then you can have, like, your police will should be there. But if you're not in office, then you should feel protected in the United States. But also, that's why we have the Second Amendment, because you can defend yourself and your family. Other people don't have that. Other countries don't have that. I can see why you would need to have special services in the UK, because all you can have, you can't even have a taser, but all you can have is a bat or a hammer. So special, even though regular cops don't have guns, but special services have guns. So I can see why you would in other countries, but like, it's like cultural appropriation. I don't think you can have cultural appropriation in the United States, because that's what we're founded on. Our whole country's founded on bringing your culture
You've talked
here.
about that before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's an interesting concept. I think that comes into that conversation that I and I were having yesterday about the birthright, citizen birthright stuff, because it is a little bit different. Like in some countries, it's by blood only. Like in Qatar, you have to have like it doesn't matter where you were born. To them, their rules are, what is your bloodline? And so then that determines your citizenship or whatever.
So much of the Middle East is tribal,
Sure. And Muslim. Yeah. I mean,
just tribal period. Like Jew is a tribe. It's, Judah, the tribe of Judah. But that's what the whole thing, that's what people have forgotten. Because the world has changed to be more like America, just overall in the past 250 years.
Would you say that's from TV and pop culture and social media, all that?
No, I think that because it was before social media was a thing. I think it's because it was the best. Everyone saw this. This is working. This is the idea anyone's had. It's crazy nutbags who beat back the biggest empire in the world.
Right.
This is a good idea.
But then they got infiltrated.
Yeah, but then like slowly it became like my mom told me that when I was a kid about, because it was I think it was the Falklands or something happened, some military thing. And my mom was talking about how before, if a country beat another country or they had a war or a fight, then they took that country, they took that land. She said, America doesn't do that. If we ever go to war with someone, when we win or when they surrender, we give them back their own country. And it's never been done before. That was like a crazy radical idea.
Actually, like we did a report on Genghis Khan, and actually that is how it used to be done. Then Genghis Khan came in, and that's how he grew his empire. Is he wouldn't give the land back, and he wouldn't pay any reparations. He made them become part of his.
Like we would have the state of Japan,
but before that, it was
That's how anything was. That's how clans in Scotland. If you took over the other clan, that's how Africa was. That's what started the slave trade. If one tribe beat another tribe, that tribe became their slaves. They sold them to the white folks or the other black folks. That's how life worked until this weird, crazy idea of America, where hey, you messed with us, we beat you, but
now we're going to make your country great again.
Now you have your country back. Don't mess with us. Learn your lesson. You're going to pay us some money or do whatever.
Oh no! We paid them afterwards. We even them for the damage we did.
My mom would be like, we had helped them, get back on their feet. Yeah. Which was it's the whole thing with like, you can say that America's not a Christian nation, but that's the basic. You help your enemy and then you beat them with love. It's like we helped their economy, and things used to be so different. I was talking to one of my best friends, and he was talking about Germany. We grew up in Germany. Remember we was in Germany, and I was like, you know what, dude, we didn't grow up in Germany. We didn't live in Germany. And he's like, what are you talking about?
On the base?
No.
Oh.
And this hit me when I was in the hospital. When I was in the hospital, you came down, and then my best friend came down. And he said something to me, and he was talking to my kids, and he was like, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, West Germany. Yeah, West Germany. I was like, West Germany? I haven't heard West Germany. But that's true. It was West Germany. I grew up in a country that doesn't exist. And it didn't exist before. Where I grew up only existed for like 50 years or 40 years. It existed between the end of World War II, like a year or two later, right? And then it was like 92, 93, whenever the wall fell.
Wow.
That's the only time that this storybook land existed of West Germany, where there was no crime. Everything was like perfect. Everyone was friendly. Even like after the wall fell, when the East Germans came in, my friend was over. She told me it's totally different now. There's crime, people breaking. You have to worry about people breaking in your house. Like the dollar store, how they have all the stuff on the sidewalk out front.
Not really.
They have, like Walmart. They have
in the summer. Yes, in the summer, I think they do that.
So, but in dollar store, they have like all the stuff, in the front, and then in Germany, they close from, I think it's like 12 to 2 every day, every store. They have like a siesta. And they wouldn't bring that stuff in the store or lock it down or anything. It's just out there. Anyone could steal it. But no one would steal it. It was the craziest thing for me to see growing up.
Mhm.
And I can't do that
Because
anymore.
it was a small community. I mean, it
The
wasn't
the whole
American.
country, the whole country, in the cities, everywhere. It just
Yeah.
wasn't even an idea, wasn't thought of.
Yeah.
And that's what I was trying to tell my friend. I was like, dude, that was like, it doesn't exist. That was like,
There's several countries that are still, I mean, Finland is still, from what I understand, somewhat like that. And Qatar is like that as well. We were having
yeah,
the
but
whole
guitar, we're talking about fear because they'll chop your hand off or something like that.
No, it's because of the culture, because it's all about the family. And if you were to bring shame to your family, like everybody knows your mama.
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
another
thing.
thing that doesn't matter with the destruction of the family. No one, it's not a thing. Like my mother was like, I don't give our bad name. You give our family a bad name when you do stuff. You make me, when you get in trouble in school, they think I'm a bad mother, which I didn't get until I had kids,
Right.
you know? And Robert was like, liked girls, you know? So he would go around like grabbing girls' butts and trying to kiss them in kindergarten, first grade.
God.
And like we had parent teacher conferences and they would be like looking at me and like, I ain't doing nothing. They're like, what are you teaching him? And then, but Nicholas wouldn't. Nicholas was the polar opposite. Like he wouldn't kiss his mother for a couple of years
Mhm.
because he didn't want to get cooties. And then
Mhm.
Ted and Alex would go into the school system. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, it's just Robert. That's right. All right. So, but yeah, it was like, it was always, you know, and you told your kids, it's like everything you do reflects on, you know, all of us.
Family, yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I was told by my mom, especially. It's if everything you do in public, if you're not on base, if you're on, you know, like if we're in a different country, even if, you know, the French dude is a dick, you can't be a dick back because you're literally an ambassador. Everyone will be like those Americans. You have to be on your best behavior.
Interesting. Yeah.
So it was always in the back of my mind, you know, can't have to hold my tongue and keep my shit together.
Because you felt like you were, or your family felt like they were representing our whole country to
Yeah,
another
it was
country.
exactly
You were visitors. You were
everywhere I would go where I was, and you know, it was responsible for my whole family. But any other country, I was responsible for my whole country. You know, so we always had to be on our best behavior, and like Amsterdam or the Netherlands, call it Holland. It pisses Lee off, but it's the Netherlands. But like they were like so friendly. Like I didn't have to pay for McDonald's once because they're like American. It's like, yeah, oh, cool, American. Thank you for killing the Nazis. You don't pay. You don't pay. And I was like, what? I was like, thank you, very nice. Gonna go see Anne Frank's house. You know, bye. It was but now it's very different because it's not the same place. It's full
Did
of.
you see Anne Frank's sister on USA Today yesterday? We probably can't talk about it because we'll both lose our channels. But people should go check it out. She had questions about, and I won't do the volume or anything. People can, but she appeared on Pierce Morgan, Good Morning.
That's Anne Frank's sister.
It's her stepsister. Yeah.
Yeah, she's looking good for a World War II lady.
Yeah. So she says, I guess there was snow. There should have been snow, and there wasn't snow in the pictures. So it was interesting. Just something to think about. The movie continues.
Her name is Palace.
It says Eva Schloss.
Schloss is Palace.
Oh, interesting.
Translation. Yeah.
Eva was my grandmother's name. Anyway, thought that was interesting. I was going to play it out on the video yesterday, and then we were like, might lose your channel.
Yeah, it's weird when you think, because there's a picture of Stalin, like 3 of his generals or 3 of his top advisors, and then he killed one of them because they made him mad. And then he had the picture fixed and they took the guy out, but it looks like you do it today in Photoshop.
Wow.
You can't tell the difference. And this was almost 100 years ago.
Well, it's like what you shared with, or was it I think it was you, the Barack Obama's birth certificate and how easy, I mean, that technology the military's had for a long time, which
yeah, but we still had computers then, but this was just, like smoke and mirrors kind of thing. And I can't tell the difference. Had the pictures right next to each other, and it was like funny. It was a joke because Stalin even removed him from the picture, but it looks perfect. It is very weird, very weird.
I'm trying to find. There's a interview about they allowed regular people in, like literally like you and I, YouTubers, supposedly Xers, whatever, into the press room now. So the questions have changed and whatever. And one of them, one of the things this new girl mentioned was that,
I was going to say she looks like you.
No, sorry,
it was you.
It was me. But I had it right here. Sorry, guys. This is about the pause on funding. So that's the one where mic drops about like, well, because they are illegal or whatever, I think. There was another one about, here it is, the unauthorized drones. I thought this was the actual video of her, but I guess she had said, she'd made a statement saying that directly from President Trump, saying they were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons. Many of these drones were also hobbyists, recreational, and private individuals to enjoy flying drones. In time, it got worse due to curiosity. This was not the enemy. That is a weird statement. So we're learning, one of the things we're doing right now is this critical thinking with fallacy detective, and they're learning these red herrings and what the difference is from a red herring versus an ad hominem attack. And this thing is full of red herrings, because when you look at this language and pick it apart, many were authorized. They were authorized by the FAA for research. And anytime there's an and, you can forget it. The first part probably doesn't matter. It's kind of like putting a but on something. Various other reasons.
Putting a butt on a butt.
Yeah, like it could be anything. Various other reasons. Many of these drones were, hobbyists, recreational, and private individuals. Oh, that could be private companies. That could be private. Like,
but some of these drones were
so vague.
The size of suburban.
Right. They're huge.
I've
Yeah.
never seen one that wasn't a military. Even military, I've never seen one that big.
Yeah.
Look at this. Can you share it?
In private? Oh no, here you go.
Okay. Look at. Can you see?
Sure. Wow.
That. Yeah. I mean, it's like funny that he, killed a guy and then removed it, but that's like technologically.
It almost looks like a different picture, though, doesn't it? Like, does he look different in the second picture?
He looks brighter, like the back.
Brighter, yeah.
Brighter.
I guess they had to brighten the water or something, maybe.
I guess they because it's what's the word? It's an actual picture, so they had to. It's like another exposure, So like the guy's coat's brighter. It's like a reprint.
They might have had to cut two together and then make the water blend, so they brought up the light.
But
To
even
see how
that
dark the water is.
coat is touching the guy's coat.
I know, but what I'm saying is, see, he's standing in front of the guy, so they could have cut like along the edge of Stalin, and then taken another picture of just the water and put behind it to be the water, and then bring all the color up on the. They would have to bring the color up on his coat and stuff.
There's no color. It's black and white. They don't bring the. This was so old.
The shading, the whatever.
It's weird. It's
That's
just
what I'm saying.
insane that they were able to do this.
Yeah.
You know, it's just it's
I
crazy.
don't think it's that difficult.
It's
but
crazy.
yeah. It's cool. That's good. Lots of good stuff. So I did put as a title that the indictments were coming out, because, you know, a lot of us have been waiting for the indictments. And there was an announcement of, I think 40 indictments, where I just had it pulled up and then I changed it.
Is that the Houston police?
It's the cell phone companies used to maybe so.
That's the Houston
help
police.
charge the to help the drug cartels.
That's the Houston police, yeah.
43 people charged in U.S. and Mexico, with 30 already in custody for all the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Trafficking, money laundering, and charges.
That is the Houston Popos, and they said that they had found some in Florida and Louisiana as well.
And then the feds, I guess, found a $200 million smuggling operation tied to China, allegedly. We'll see. When is the Super Bowl? I guess that's coming up. Everybody's talking about, or was it last weekend?
Yeah, that was coming up. The Eagles are going to be there, but they're probably going to lose because the NFL wants the Chiefs to win. So I've actually been watching this crazy conspiracy guy who like points these hints out, and he's been right every game for like 3 or 4 games. It's like, no, they're saying these people are going to win, and then they win. Ilhan Omar, we could hit on that.
Well, I want to touch on this really quick. Trump issued a temporary freeze on federal grant payments today. And when they took a look at them, there's a thread of this. And of course, it's, you know, the most ridiculous things. More of the, you know, what the Doge is finding, and what Massey and Lankford had been pointing out for years. But this is stopping the money. And I guess even after Trump had left the WEF, they were planning on sending like tons of money to the WEF even after his EO for that. So this was a way that they were trying to still get that money out there. All kinds of crazy stuff you can see.
Yeah, I think either Trump's doing a lot of stuff for good, or he is doing a lot of bad stuff. I don't like how the DOJ, he fired the first thing he closed down were the people that investigate crooked cops. There's a lot that needs to be fixed in the DOJ. I don't know why that'd be the first thing you go to.
Maybe they were all corrupt.
Unless you replace them. That's my I was talking with Lee about this. You have to. He's not saying I'm going to replace him. He fired all the IGs, and everyone's like, "See, this is you know, we need the IGs because they're the ones they're the watchers," and that is true. But like Vivek always said, are they doing their job? Like, because everyone's like, "How can you close the FBI? How can you cancel the CIA?" Do you think that they're doing their job? Well, no. Well, there you go. So if you take all the IGs out and you fire them, if you're going to replace them, then good, replace them with people that are going to do the job. But to not say that you're going to.
What if they are being replaced by local?
If you say you're going to be replaced, and I have a friend.
That's what you're seeing more and more is the local, the push to local. Like in Oklahoma,
no, this is not local. This is the IGs for federal to police the federal. So you have to replace them.
Federal.
I like what he said about killing FEMA. That was just bloop. I was not expecting that. It floored me. He was talking about FEMA sucks. they sucked in South Carolina, which they did. He's like, I think we should get rid of them and put the money into the state disaster because people in the state know how to handle things better. Because FEMA comes in, they're like, you all have to listen to us, and we don't know anything about this place. And I thought that was a great idea. Plus, it would take so much power away from, because that's what everybody thinks FEMA is the shadow government, and they have all the black helicopters, and they're the
No, and he shut that guy down in that California like round table
to
thing
do
where the
that.
guy was,
Yeah,
I want to defend FEMA, and he goes, no. And
you
then
know who that guy is? Do you know who
Don't
he
know
shut
that.
down? That's
Mm-mm.
Brad Sherman. That's the guy that went after crypto years ago. That's the guy that hates crypto. That's the guy that's bought and paid for by the Swiss banks, by foreign banks, by the Chinese bank, and by payment systems. I hate Brad
So
Sherman.
there was another big, I wanted to just touch on this real quick. Trump calling for the end of the IRS, abolish the income tax, get rid of the IRS. This was huge. Everybody check that out. But then what you were talking about, there was a big, dang it. Where is it? Where is it? It's not the tariffs. Erickson, here it is. The public record drop on, and I think this will help to take them out, is these big companies and how the entire government Fed level is compromised, and they link it all together. This is, hold on, I'll play it.
So the what is if an organization such as Ericsson controls the internet space,
Internet and telecommunications.
how difficult would it be for a non-government actor to take a government completely hostage with their monetary system?
I'd say they've already done it.
I'm sorry, can you speak up?
I would say that it's already happened with regard to our current system.
Okay.
The Federal Reserve and
Well, SWIFT operates on
European.
internet.
Yep.
cable.
And all of that is private. So especially when you go to try to pull your own, if you want to pull more than $10,000 out of an FDIC bank, they're going to ask you why you're doing it. What's the purpose for? A lot of these questions, and you're seeing a lot of debanking happening as well. And so the reason for that would be, you have your money in there, but if being Lebanese, and in 2019, the Central Bank of Lebanon shut down. So all my family members, friends, and or otherwise, they lost all of the money, and they still to this day cannot pull it out. But interestingly enough, the local politicians are able to. So it's one of those things where until it happens to you, you're not worried about it. But that was very similar with the 2008 real estate crash, where it didn't matter until it affected you. And unfortunately, that seems to be a lot of how business operates within governance and private sector. Is that it doesn't really matter until it affects the individual, and then doesn't really matter to that private corporation until they're sued.
Yeah, I think that's something that I keep saying, and it sucks because people are going to die and people are going to be hurt, but we have to like tear something down so it affects the regular people, and then regular people are like, hey man, you can't do this, and then they're like, oh yeah, they can. That's what we've been saying. This is a bad system, and now you finally know. And it's like, but I can't get my money, and I've lost this money. It's like now I can't retire, in 8 years like I want to. And yeah, so what are you going to do?
Pelosi's still in her mansion, and she can get
exactly. She can get,
or she's made whole because they were shareholders, and so they're made whole. But you got bailed in. So
can you imagine if the government goes after BlackRock under a RICO Act and takes all the assets? First off, it would help with the budget and everything massively.
Right.
But all of those people who are invested into it, all of those people who their funds are managed would be hurt. But it would have to be exposed. What they would do to the world, as far as or Soros, either one of them, taking one of them down and taking their assets would help so much the cause of freedom and liberty, but it would hurt so many people in the process. But I think people need a wake up call.
I think it would have to happen in tandem with a great reset.
Or a bail-in. One good
Well,
bail-in.
but also a relief of debt, because people would just, first of all, they're going to all default on all their loans anyway, right? I mean, it's going to be like it would be a domino effect. If you woke up tomorrow and everyone, you know, if the government went after BlackRock today, seized their assets, and tomorrow everybody woke up and their 401ks were nothing and whatever, and the bail-in happened at the local branch. First there'd be like a run, I guess, but very quickly, you guys know, they don't have the money, they don't have the cash. And then they tell
we let that happen. We let quantitative easing happen where they only had to have 10%, but then we let that go away where they don't have to have 10%.
Well, I think all that changed January 1. That's what the Basel 4 or whatever is, where now they do have to keep so much, and they have to have the gold on hand for deposits and all that kind of stuff. And so I think that's where we're coming up on 30 days of January 1. And I don't know. I think that's where the banks aren't going to be able to. And this is my totally uneducated, other than listening to people that I respect on there, just my unprofessional opinion. But we're coming up on the 30 days of January 1. And that's where it's going to hit the road. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I think you're right. I mean, I think a lot of us see. Oh, here I am says it starts with school districts. They're already bankrupt. And if their federal funding is cut off right now, because of Trump's orders, because of the misspending and all that, because what basically is my understanding is they shut everything down and they're like, okay, and then we're going to reopen it as we see needed and fit, that's appropriate spending. But we got to shut all this stuff down because there was, all these crazy spending happening. And so if that includes federal spending to schools, and schools are already in trouble, and banks are already in trouble, like we're all kind of, everybody's business is kind of right there. And you're seeing big, because of the great infection, and we're seeing the big commercial banking or commercial property crisis. There's so much flooded out there in the market right now. People aren't buying it. Well, they're not going to get their little funding either.
Things happening with schools, which I think is interesting, is they're moving towards charter schools and credits and homeschool or private school. It's your money. You decide where to send the kids. But they're saying, oh, you can't use your credits or charters schools if there's any religious stuff. And then we're like, no, because that in itself is religious. If you're teaching atheism, then that technically is your religion. So people need to have the actual freedom of choice, or just take, get out of it altogether. But I think that the school vouchers thing is the best way, and then people can choose where to send their kids. They don't have to have a school board that they have to ask, or they have to police. Because you used to be, you could trust your school board. You know what I mean? And now it's like, what? You're showing kids porn? You're doing this? You're doing that? And then you go to speak, and you're pulled off by the cops.
Right.
It's gotten to a point, like I said, everything's gotten to a point where it's so bad that I don't think it can really be fixed as a system. You need to get rid of it. We don't need a school board. We need to have, 3 or 4 private schools in a town, and you've got vouchers where you can send your kids.
So more of a free market thing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The best job gets the most students attending there. And then that's
Yeah.
interesting because that's a private model, which is kind of what you're seeing Trump do with a lot of this. Is he's like, pulling the federal funding, and then like when he went to California, no, the private, and they're going to build back their house. You just need to get out of their way.
Yeah, that's.
And
I'm glad that he stood up to him. He's like, no, get out of leave them alone. Let them clean their own stuff up. This guy here, I bet you clean your stuff up tonight. You're ready to go, aren't you? I know he's one of my people. I bet. Yeah, I know you guy.
Wow.
I thought that was like perfect, because he called them out on their political double talk. Yes, we're getting things together. It's going to be people can fix it fast. How fast? Real fast. We're going to have it take how fast? How many days? Tonight? Well, shooting for a week. A week's a long time. I mean, he like took their feet, held it to the fire. I thought it was good, and then shit started getting real.
I saw an interview, or not an interview. I'm sorry, just some camera of somebody like trying to get in, and they were turning them around, and they're like, "Oh no, they're not making you wait a week, but now you have to go drive to another county and get this pass to then come back here." And he goes, "No, I'm not." He goes, "I'm standing. I can see my house.
Yeah, that's my house.
You're gonna let me go right? I'm gonna go right
here." Who was he talking to?
Like I don't know,
I watched when guys talking.
Well, I guess it wasn't.
He was talking to the military.
Okay, maybe that was.
Guard.
Did he have the safety vest on over his?
Yeah, safety vest on over his. And he's like, dude, the military is stopping me from going to my house that I own. And the guy was like, look, man, you're preaching to the choir. I don't want to be here.
He had a state guy standing with him.
He's like, I don't want to be here.
It wasn't just the military guy. There was
I saw this guy's like, I just want to go to mine, see what I have, see what's left. If there's pictures, if there's anything that survived, I just want to go look at my property. He goes, I know. He goes, and he kept saying, I want you to go. I do. I'm just doing what we're told. I'm just following the orders. You can't go. And it was ridiculous, man. I can't imagine if someone kept me from my own property after my house burned down.
Yeah, that would be tough. There's people are going through it right now for sure. So,
and that's like I said, but that's part of this shit that's waking people up, and that's one of the places that needed to wake up. And then people are asking questions about the smart city and how everything lines up with Hawaii and with was it Brazil or all the way back to the Australia fires. They were the same with the smart city planning. Literally, all these big fires have happened after they say, "Hey, we're going to build a smart city right here." Yeah. And now you've got BlackRock in California, like literally going to people, "Hey, you own that big pile of burnt rubble? We'll take it off your hands. Yeah, would you like a check?"
No. I agree, Tom. It's exposing all this to people that weren't paying attention before, I believe.
Or were living in a dream world. They were living somewhere else. They had their heads buried in the sand, and their ass just got burnt. So they had to pull their head out of the sand and see.
Yeah, that's a hard way to say it. I've got to run because we're celebrating. Here is my little man. I'm so proud of him. This is a science fair. This is while he still had the suit jacket on. He did his project called Silver Lining, and it was about trying to keep milk from spoiling. And he wanted to know if you put silver in, or would silver prevent milk from spoiling as fast. And although he did not win first, second, or third with the teachers' vote, he did get one of the first place things for, I think it was first place for like a most original experiment from his peers. So from all the middle school and high school kids, they went around and got to vote. And his was voted most original. So I was very proud of him.
It's good for Canon. That is awesome.
Yeah. And the comments on the judges' sheets were really cool. They said like he really knew he had done a lot of research, and he was excited about his research and excited about sharing his research. So that made my little homeschool mama heart happy, because it's been a long 10 weeks.
It's something weird. I looked at this week about milk. They've been going after the Amish for months and months now. So much that the Amish actually voted, which was crazy.
Mhm.
But they're going after the Amish and other milk producers for selling raw milk, and they're just dumping it out and trying to destroy it and make it illegal.
Are they still doing that though?
Yes, they are. But I found this out. So Nathan Rothschild. He was in the English House of Lords. They have lifetime position in that government, which is a weird thing. But he only spoke in the chamber on 2 occasions over the whole time. One occasion was he spoke to Parliament, asked to assist in the settling of 100,000 Jewish settlers into the then British-owned Palestine.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense because he was one of the leaders of the Zionist movement in the 20th century. The other time he gave a speech, Lord Rothschild gave, was on milk, pasteurization.
I didn't know that. So I knew about that the Rothschilds actually established Israel.
Yeah.
I'd seen that in an interview where one of the Rothschilds is walking around and he shows the letter where they established Israel.
Yeah. He had written it to the prime minister. But this only other thing that he spoke on or cared about was milk, pasteurization. As much as he cares about the Jewish settlers of Palestine, why are they of equal importance to him? And then I looked, and the difference between pasteurized milk and raw milk is insane.
Yeah.
It's like
you're drinking something live or dead.
It's like 70% of all the vitamins and minerals are killed. A lot of them are 100% gone, like enzymes and something else. But it's a big, 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 big difference, which is, just one of the things zinc. Zinc is what everybody, with the gingivitis outbreak, they're like, zinc is what you need zinc. We have a shortage of zinc in our body. We need zinc. Milk used to give you, raw milk was like a ton of zinc, like 100%. So I thought that was interesting.
That is interesting.
So whatever the government doesn't want you to have, it's probably good for you.
Good for you. Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Sean. I appreciate it. And you guys in the chat, you're amazing. Thanks for all the sweet shout outs and encouragement to Canon and all your great information above and below that. That's really exciting to hear other people talking about that as well. So we will see you guys next time here on the Truth Tuesday show.